Fans are buzzing with excitement for the Identity V crossover with Little Nightmares. You can tell by all the comments from players eagerly waiting for this crossover and celebrating its announcement. Plus, even a particular, well-known YouTuber has jumped on board, chatting about it on their channel. So, I've been thinking, why is everyone so hyped about this crossover? Well, folks, I've stumbled upon a few reasons that got people excited and why the Identity V team decided to do it. I'll spill the beans in this video. To kick off this video, let's delve into why the Little Nightmares franchise has gained such popularity. Little Nightmares, initially released in 2017 by Bandai Namco, is a puzzle platform horror game that revolves around the journey of a young girl named Six, who must navigate her way out of a haunting realm known as the Maw. This game has captured the attention of gamers worldwide, who primarily applaud its atmospheric and eerie ambiance. Unlike relying on heart-stopping jump scares or a terrifying storyline, the game immerses players in the unsettling atmosphere of a young child attempting to escape from eerie creatures. Additionally, many people appreciate the game's chilling sound design, straightforward gameplay, and the simplicity yet stunning visuals it offers. The popularity of the Little Nightmares series is evident through its scores on various game review platforms. For instance, on Metacritic, the PC version received a score of 81 out of 100. IGN, a popular video game and entertainment media website, rated it 88 out of 100. Additionally, the game garnered a very positive review on the Steam video game store. The game itself has been nominated for several awards, including Best Visual Design, Best Audio, and more. At the 2016 Gamescom event, it won the award for the Best Indie Game, surpassing 4 other competitors. Little Nightmares might be well known, but just being famous doesn't automatically mean it's a shoo-in for the crossover. So what other stuff makes Little Nightmares a great fit for an Identity V crossover? First off, Identity V falls into the horror game category. I understand some might mock it as more of a fashion show, and to be fair, I can see where they're coming from. But let's get real. Identity V can still give you those creepy, hair-raising vibes, and I'm talking real horror, not just for laughs. So, here's the thing. Both Identity V and Little Nightmares are horror games in their own right. Because they share the same genre, it's no surprise that a bunch of Identity V players either already dig Little Nightmares or are bound to get into it. Moving on, Identity V and Little Nightmares are practically twins when it comes to gameplay, music, character design, ambiance, and story. They've got it all. In terms of gameplay, you're constantly dodging monsters, sneaking around, and solving puzzles to unlock doors in both games. Plus, they share that eerie soundtrack that I'm sure fans of both games will totally vibe with. And let's chat about character design for a sec. You ever notice how both Identity V and Little Nightmares rock this doll-like look for their characters? They can be cute one minute and totally creepy the next. That's why a bunch of characters from Little Nightmares could easily slide into the Identity V universe. I actually talked about this in my last video about the crossover. The atmosphere in both games is pretty similar. They both offer up these creepy realms to explore, with a sort of gloomy vibe that keeps you feeling like something's gonna jump out and scare you at any moment. Now, when it comes to the story, Little Nightmares might not dive as deep as Identity V, but it does touch on themes like survival and betrayal. And guess what? Those themes are all over the place in Identity V, whether it's in the character lore, essence lore, map lore, you name it. A lot of Identity V players have either played Little Nightmares or know about it. It's not really shocking considering they're both horror games. I've come across quite a few Identity V players chatting about Little Nightmares. Some of them are really keen on the idea of a crossover between the two games. And if you're curious, there are loads of players who've taken matters into their own hands and imagined up their own versions of what that crossover could be like. You'll find plenty of examples floating around on social media platforms like YouTube and Reddit. Furthermore, in 2022, NetEase conducted a survey among Identity V players to find out what they liked, and unsurprisingly, Little Nightmares was one of the popular choices. This indicates that many Identity V players are already aware of the franchise. I've been thinking that a crossover between Identity V and Little Nightmares could be mutually beneficial. Plus, there might be a specific reason why this crossover is happening in the upcoming weeks. First off, bringing this crossover to life will introduce many players to the world of Little Nightmares. While plenty of gamers are already familiar with it, let's not overlook the fact that there are others who haven't heard of the franchise. With this crossover, it's a chance for those players to discover the game. This is particularly important for Bandai Namco, the publisher of the Little Nightmares series. In 2024, they're gearing up to release the latest installment in this series, Little Nightmares 3. By going ahead with this crossover, they're not just promoting the game, but also boosting brand awareness among gamers. That's probably why they're planning to release it in the upcoming weeks. Secondly, this crossover would also benefit Identity V, especially NetEase, for similar reasons. I'm pretty sure there are many Little Nightmares fans who haven't heard of Identity V yet. So, by making this crossover happen, Little Nightmares fans would learn about the game. Lastly, NetEase, in particular, would rake in some extra cash from it. So, remember that survey I mentioned earlier? Well, it looks like some of the stuff in there could be perfect for other crossovers too. They've got a bunch of popular anime and games listed, like One Piece, Madoka Magica, Resident Evil, and more. But what I really want to dive into is the possibility of a Madoka Magica crossover in the future. I initially thought Identity V would totally go for a crossover with Madoka Magica, given how popular it is among players. I mean, just check out the comments section on the official Identity V Twitter announcement of the livestream. You'll see tons of players rooting for that Madoka Magica crossover. Now that Madoka Magica is already on the list, maybe NetEase will seriously consider making this crossover happen? Plus, there's already a ton of players eagerly anticipating it. There's even this TikTok and Reddit user, Milk Puffs, who's churned out loads of Madoka Magica crossover concepts with Identity V, and they look pretty awesome, if you ask me. So, there you have it, folks. That's why the upcoming Identity V and Little Nightmares crossover is going to be awesome. And hey, if you want more info, you might want to check out my previous video on it. I've got all the juicy details like the release date, how to get the characters, and more. Don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for tuning in, folks!